They fed empires, they healed generations, and yet they were erased. One plant carried more protein than beef, more resilience than soy, and more healing than medicine. It could have changed the way we eat forever, but industry buried it. Welcome to Forgotten Leaf Secrets. Today, we uncover the plant that could replace meat, but was silenced by history. In the stillness of village ponds, a green carpet once spread across the water. Tiny leaves, no bigger than a grain of rice, floating together like constellations. This was duckweed, dismissed as pond scum, but carrying a secret powerful enough to rival meat itself. Generations ago, families would scoop it from the surface, dry it in the sun, and eat it when fields failed. Every handful was rich in protein, amino acids, and minerals. It fueled endurance, healed weakness, and grew faster than any crop known to man. No soil, no fertilizer, no struggle, just abundance. But abundance was its downfall. Industry could not control it, could not package it, could not profit from it. And so duckweed was silenced, its name erased from cookbooks, its power buried beneath the water's surface. Yet even today, in forgotten ponds, it multiplies silently, waiting, a plant that could replace meat, hidden in plain sight, erased not by nature, but by human choice. Duckweed was never just pond scum. It was nature's fastest-growing protein factory. Every tiny leaf carried up to 40% pure protein, rivaling beef and soy. It regenerated in hours, not weeks, multiplying so fast that hunger could have been erased. But here's the secret industry didn't want you to know. Duckweed was too simple. It didn't need fertilizer, pesticides, or expensive machinery. It grew freely, abundantly, without profit margins. And that made it dangerous, not to health, but to business. So the narrative was rewritten. Duckweed was labeled animal feed, dismissed as useless, and buried under decades of silence. Meanwhile, scientists quietly discovered its hidden powers: omega-3 fatty acids to strengthen the heart, antioxidants to fight disease, amino acids to rebuild muscle, all inside a plant floating invisibly across ponds. Imagine if this had been embraced. A plant that could replace meat, heal the body, and grow anywhere on Earth. But instead, it was erased. And the question remains, who decided what we eat and what we forget? Long before laboratories measured protein, villagers already knew duckweed's secret. In Asia, healers scooped it from ponds, drying it into powders that calmed fevers and strengthened the weak. In Africa, families boiled it into stews, feeding children when harvests failed. And in Europe, duckweed was whispered about as water lentils, a humble food that carried strength through famine. It was more than survival. It was medicine, nourishment, and resilience wrapped into a single leaf. Generations trusted it, not because of science, but because of experience. They saw how it healed, how it sustained, how it endured. But as industry rose, duckweed's story was rewritten. The plant of survival became animal feed. The healer's powder became pond scum. And the wisdom of centuries was erased in a single generation. Yet the ponds never forgot. Even today, duckweed multiplies silently, carrying the same power that once saved lives. A plant erased from memory, but still waiting to be rediscovered. For decades, duckweed was erased. But science has a way of uncovering what history tried to bury. In hidden laboratories, researchers began testing this pond scum. What they found shocked them. Duckweed carried essential amino acids in perfect balance, rivaling meat. It contained omega-3 south, stronger than fish oil, protecting the heart and brain. Its antioxidants fought inflammation. Its minerals rebuilt strength. And its rapid growth promised food security in places where famine still lingers. Suddenly, whispers began. Could duckweed be the future of food? Could this forgotten plant end hunger, replace meat, and heal the planet? But here lies the tension. If duckweed rises, the industries built on soy, corn, and livestock tremble. Billions in profit depend on keeping this plant invisible. And so, even as science celebrates it, duckweed remains hidden from your plate. Yet ponds across the world still glow green, silently multiplying, carrying the same secret power. A revival is coming. And the question is not if, but when. Duckweed was never just a village food. It was a global solution hiding in plain sight. In Asia, it was called water lentils, feeding families through monsoon floods. In Africa, it grew in stagnant ponds, offering protein where livestock could not survive. And in Europe, whispers of its healing powers echoed in forgotten herbal texts. But here, as the truth industry, dose and tea want you to hear, duckweed could have ended hunger. It could have replaced meat, reduced deforestation, and silenced the need for factory farms. It was cheap, abundant, and unstoppable. And that made it dangerous not to health, but to profit. So the narrative was buried. Corporations pushed soy, corn, and livestock instead, crops that demanded land, chemicals, and control. Duckweed was erased from the conversation, labeled animal feed, hidden from your plate. Yet ponds across the world still glow green, silent, multiplying, carrying the same secret power. A plant that could replace meat, waiting for rediscovery. Duckweed was never just food. It was a quiet weapon against the destruction of our planet. Every leaf absorbed carbon, cleaning the air. Every pond filtered toxins, purifying the water. And every handful of duckweed carried protein without slaughter, without deforestation, without cruelty. Imagine this: no factory farms, no forests burned for soy, no rivers poisoned by fertilizers. Just a green carpet across ponds, multiplying endlessly, feeding millions while healing the earth. But this vision was too radical, too disruptive. Because if duckweed rose, the industries built on meat and monocrops would collapse. Billions in profit would vanish. And so the plant was buried deeper, silenced harder, erased faster. Yet ponds across the world still glow green. Silent, multiplying, carrying the same secret power. A revolution waiting beneath the surface. A revolution industry fears more than hunger itself. For years, duckweed was erased from memory. But in hidden corners of the world, a quiet comeback has begun. Startups in Asia call it water lentils, packaging it into powders and protein shakes. In Europe, researchers test it as a sustainable meat alternative, shocked by its amino acid profile. And in America, small farms experiment with duckweed ponds, producing food without soil, without chemicals, without destruction. Science now confirms what ancient wisdom already knew. Duckweed is not pond scum. It is a superfood. It is survival. It is the plant that could replace meat. But here's the twist. Even as rediscovery spreads, industry resists. Lobbyists push against its rise, fearing the collapse of billion-dollar empires built on livestock and soy. And so duckweed remains hidden, whispered about in labs and startups, but still absent from your plate. Yet ponds across the world continue to glow green, silent, multiplying, carrying the same secret power. A comeback that cannot be stopped, only delayed. Duckweed is not just a plant. It is a symbol of the battle between nature's abundance and industry's control. On one side, a leaf that multiplies endlessly, offering protein, healing, and survival without cost. On the other, corporations built on factory farms, monocrops, and profit margins that demand control of what we eat. Duckweed threatens that control because it grows without permission, because it feeds without profit, because it heals without patents. And so, the war begins quietly. Lobbyists dismiss it as animal feed. Advertisements glorify meat and soy, while duckweed is erased from the conversation. But beneath the surface, ponds glow green, carrying a silent rebellion. This is not just about food. It is about freedom. The freedom of nature to nourish us without industry's chains. the freedom of forgotten wisdom to rise again. Duckweed waits, and when it returns, it will not just replace meat. It will challenge the very system that buried it. Duckweed has waited in silence, but silence never lasts forever. Across villages, whispers rise again. Farmers rediscover ponds glowing green, feeding families without soil, without slaughter. Startups experiment with powders and protein bars, daring to challenge the empire of meat. Scientists publish papers that industry cannot ignore, proof that duckweed carries the strength of survival. And yet, the resistance grows stronger. Corporations tighten their grip, dismissing duckweed as animal feed, burying its name beneath marketing campaigns for soy and corn. But beneath the surface, the truth multiplies. Every pond is a rebellion. Every leaf is a secret waiting to be revealed. This is the moment before the storm. The moment when forgotten wisdom collides with modern science. The moment when duckweed rises not as pond scum, but as the plant that could replace meat. Duckweed was never just a plant. It was survival. It was medicine. It was freedom. For centuries, it fed the hungry, healed the weak, and offered a future beyond meat. But industry buried it, silencing its story, erasing its name, and hiding its power. Yet ponds across the world still glow green. Silent, multiplying, carrying. The same secret strength that once sustained civilizations. And now, the truth is rising again. Duckweed, the plant that could replace meat, is no longer forgotten. Its comeback is inevitable. Its power, undeniable. Its story, unstoppable. The question is not if, but when. When will we embrace the leaf that industry tried to erase? When will we rediscover the wisdom buried beneath the surface? Because duckweed waits. And when it returns, it will not just feed us, it will change us. Like and subscribe for more hidden plant wisdom, where another forgotten leaf reveals its secret.